Hello guys, and today I'm going to teach you about the perils of being pinned in. Okay, now I'm playing as black and my opponent is playing as white. Okay, now I only had 59 seconds left on the clock, so sometimes I rushed a few things. Okay, so some moves I rushed, but you'll see what happens. Now some of these initial moves, well, they're not initial, but they're near the end of the game. But some of these moves you're about to see aren't that important initially, but they're to give you an insight into what's going on. Okay, I was in check. I had to move the king. They move their king. I had to do something. I just thought I might try to progress a pawn. They then, as their rook out the way, I then move my pawn to try to get a queen. That was my original intention. They then move their king. I'm not sure why. I then move my pawn up. They cannot take the pawn without losing a rook potentially. They then move their king. I think their idea is so that if they try and take my rook, they can then take my pawn later. I then move my king up to protect the pawn. Though this will have even more benefit than you're going to consider. They then moved their king. I then move my rook, put them in check. There's only one, they could have gone above, but for some strange reason they moved there because they still wanted to protect. So they still want to attack the pawn. So their idea was if they could get me into check, then they could probably force me to move away from that pawn at some point, and then they would be able to take the pawn up and stop it becoming a queen. That was their idea. However, they didn't notice that the king is now totally pinned in. The king can move down to the brown square. That is it. That is the only place that the king can currently move. It is totally pinned in and very, very vulnerable. More vulnerable than perhaps they realised. Because the next move... Oh, sorry. No, not next move. Sorry. I moved the... I don't think I even needed to do that, but never mind. This is even better. Perhaps. I don't think it makes any difference as to what the next move should. But I actually realise now that I could have just... I wasted a move. I had checkmate and I didn't even realise it. Okay, so I actually wasted a move and I didn't realise this initially. They have then moved down to their pawn to try and get a queen on the next move. Okay, they would probably think I would probably now try to take off the pawn because it's threatening to become a queen. However, and I admitted I wasted a move here unnecessarily, but I only had 16 seconds left, so I was rushed at the time, so I moved quickly because I was rushed. The next move was to move the rook over to threaten the king, checkmate. The king cannot move because it is pinned in. It cannot move to and the king, basically, the white king was pinned in completely. They were so busy worrying about trying to get a queen, they didn't worry about protecting their king. What they should have done is moved it down to the brown square below, and then they would have been able to maneuver themselves out in some way. But they didn't. So that's a lesson in being pinned in. Do make sure your king isn't pinned in your pursuit of turning a pawn into a queen. Okay? So there you go. Always make sure your king isn't pinned in if you're trying to defend yourself, and if you're attacking, you should try and pin your opponent's king in as much as possible. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.